News, politics, entertainment, and more. Welcome to The Informant. Independent talk, pursuing truth, informing everyone. Now, here is The Informant, Eric Thompson.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to The Informant. Thank you so much for joining me. For those on the East Coast, good morning to you. And for those listening on podcasts, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Eric Thompson. I do this show Monday through Friday, but I have some breaking news. I'm actually going to be moving my show over to mojo50.com. It's going to be early. It's going to be late in California. It'll be 1 hour later than I've been doing my show. So it'll be 11 o'clock out here in the West Coast, and it'll be 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning in the East Coast. So if you're up, you work the second, third shift, definitely join in. You can hear it on iTunes or Roku or different places, or you can always listen here on Spreaker for playbacks or on Mojo's website, mojo50.com. And I also want to invite you to go over to magabook.com. That's my social media site. So we have a lot of good things happening over here at The Informant, and I had a great time tonight. I was on another talk show, and let me pull it up here for you. So I want to make sure that I give you all the great information. I was on the Rory Sauter show, and it was on blogtalkradio.com. So go head over there to Rory, RORYSAURTER show on blogtalkradio.com. He also has a website, thenextgenusa.com. Does a great job over there. Great time with those guys covering the issues. All right, let's jump in here. This is going to be my only show this week because I'm going to be retooling all of my intros and everything to kick off Monday on mojo50.com. Again, it's going to be early, but so the rest of the week, just you'll be able to hear the playbacks, but I'm not going to do shows while I'm just getting the graphics and everything updated and intros. But for tonight, we're going to have a good show. So President Trump making moves. Now, Kirstjen Nielsen, I've liked her, but she didn't actually do a good job in the end. There's an article from the Gateway Pundit. Confirmed, Kirstjen Nielsen did not resign but was forced out by President Trump. As reported yesterday by Kirstjen Taylor, President Donald Trump announced on Sunday that Kirstjen Nielsen is leaving her position as Director of Homeland Security. Trump did not say she was resigning, as initial reports stated, instead saying she was leaving her position, implying that he may have fired her. I'm 99% sure that she did not want to go, but the problem is when you're the boss, the buck stops at the top, right? So when you're running Department of Homeland Security, and our country's not secure, you are probably going to be replaced. And even though she was trying, if you kind of go back and look at her resume, which I heard today on another show, she didn't actually have really good qualifications for the job. So I don't know exactly how she got the job, but I was for her because she was fighting the good fight. But in the end, I don't think she just didn't have it. So, President Trump, because as we all know, the judges are trying to stop President Trump. The left's trying to stop President Trump. The globalists are trying to stop President Trump. The border is basically 75% open. 1.5 million illegal aliens are going to come in this year, and those are the ones that they can identify. 1.5 million, that does not include the ones that are not being caught. So something dramatic had to happen here. So Kirstjen Nielsen's out, and I'm pretty sure she was went down like this. Well, Kirstjen, we have two ways of doing this. You can resign, or you can be fired. Which one would you like? Oh, I think I'll take the resignation thing. Continues here in the article. CNN later confirmed that Nielsen was forced out and did not resign. The Liberal Network reported that Nielsen was not expecting to resign when she walked into the Sunday meeting. Nielsen had a very difficult job. Democrats trashed her because they hate Trump and they want open borders. Republicans hit her because of out-of-control crisis at the border. So she's out, and we'll get to who's replacing her in a little bit. And it's interesting. I think the guy who's going to replace her is going to do a really good job, but we'll cover him in a little bit here. Now, while this transition's taking place, you have a judge, another judge, that, let's see. It says here on Bloomberg, Trump barred from forcing asylum seekers to wait in Mexico. Surprise, surprise. Judge Richard Seaborg, an Obama appointee to the bench, said not only does the policy, and the policy is called the Wait in Mexico policy, and officially as the Migrant Protection Protocols. The plan was a major part of the administration's moves to try to stem the flow of immigrants crossing into the U.S. So President Trump basically said, look, it's full, everything's full over here. If you come over, you hit the border, you're looking for asylum, instead of us releasing you into the communities because everything's full, we're going to have you go to a detention center and just across the border in Mexico, waiting for your asylum case to come up. Seems pretty logical to me. Mexico let them come in, then Mexico should house them. But that's not what the globalists want. That's not what the plan is from the cartel. They want them in the country because they know once they get in, they're not going to show up. They're not going to show up for their hearing. But it's 2 to 3, 4 years down the road, and there's 800,000 cases backed up already. So President Trump came up with the Wait in Mexico policy. The problem is, with judicial activism in full motion, they could not let that happen, the leftists. So the judge said, no, we're not going to do this. Now, here is his reasoning. He says that not only, according to the judge, not only does it violate immigration policy, okay, the law, I don't know why, but now listen to this. But Mexico is so dangerous that making asylum seekers wait there, even if they're not from Mexico, is untenable. Judge Seaborg said it may be possible to come up with a policy that would be legal with sufficient safeguards, but the Trump administration version just doesn't cut it. So what's the rationalization? It's dangerous in Mexico, so we're going to let them free in our country, not knowing who they are. Some of them are going to rape. Some are going to deal in human trafficking. Some are going to run drugs. Some are going to be MS-13 gang members. That's okay, right? That's okay, Judge. What are you talking about? But it's an Obama appointee, so they don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about our law and order, okay? And the reason why I know this is because this is an article from dailywire.com. It says, but this ruling is the latest episode in the federal judiciary's immigration-centric revanchism against the Trump administration. Last month, in a separate immigration matter, the Daily Wire reported how the Ninth Circuit, in finding that asylum seekers at the U.S.-Mexico border, listen to this, who failed their initial threshold of showing a credible fear of persecution in their home countries, are entitled to a judicial appeal before they can be deported, seem to contravene decades, if not centuries, of legal precedent. As the great Justice Robert H. Jackson, hailed as a champion of due process by many and the author of the most famous dissent in 1944's Korematsu versus United States, said in 1953's Shaughnessy versus Mazzei, quote, due process does not invest any alien with a right to enter the United States, nor confer on those admitted the right to remain against the national will. Nothing in the Constitution requires admission or sufferance of aliens hostile to our scheme of government, unquote. Similarly, Justice Antonin Scalia argued in a dissent in 2008's Boudamine versus Bush, quote, the writ of habeas corpus does not and never has run in favor of aliens abroad. The suspension clause thus has no application, unquote, and it is well established in U.S. Supreme Court case that aliens stopped at the border are legally treated as they are abroad and are not treated as if they are lawfully in the interior of the country. It seems like the president has perhaps finally had enough. On Monday, CNN, they reported that Trump seems to be telegraphing to, if not outright instructing, executive branch subordinates to willfully defy a rogue judicial edict that contravenes the nation's protection of its security and sovereignty. Last Friday, the president visited Calexico, California, where he said, we're full. Our system's full. Our country's full. Can't come in. Our country's full. What can you do? We can't handle anymore. Our country is full. You can't come in. I'm sorry. It's very simple. Behind the scenes, two sources told CNN the president told border agents to not let migrants in, telling them we do not have the capacity. He said, if judges give you trouble, say, sorry, judge, I can't do it. We don't have the room. After the president left the room, agents sought further advice from their leaders who told them they were not giving them that direction, and if they did what the president said, they would take on personal liability. You have to follow the law, they were told. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in the old America where it'd be pretty simple? And the judges in the Supreme Court have even said, you know what? You're an alien. You're not in the country, so you're not entitled to get in the country. It's the stupid, poorly written immigration laws that simply have to be rewritten. On Rory Shorten show tonight, we talked about this. It looks like I'm at my station break already. So you're listening to The Informant. Tonight you're listening on Spreaker.com and on the-informant.com and magabook.com. But next week you're going to listen on mojo50.com. Check it out. mojo50.com, magabook.com. But on Rory's show tonight, we talked about this. What needs to be done? Not just talking about it, but what needs to be done. And I'm going to tell you here in a little bit what I think needs to be done. President Trump's like, hey, tell judges, sorry, we're not following your rules because we're full. and their bosses tell them, well, you actually can't do that because of the poorly written immigration laws. So because the judge was saying that Mexico's dangerous, we can't have illegal aliens waiting for their asylum request to be processed there. And it's something that always like confounds me. No one really talks about it. Is Mexico really that screwed up? I've been to only Rosarito, Mexico, and Tijuana. I haven't really gone into Mexico because they have cartels running crazy. But there's a lot of American factories. And when I was in El Paso, you could look over the border and see them as pollution was pouring in our country. But Mexico and El Salvador and Guatemala are either, like President Trump called them, SHIT, feces countries, or, pardon my French, hit holes? Are they whole? Are they that nasty of places? Are they that ghetto? No, they're not. When these illegal aliens get their bus rides up from El Salvador and they get to our border, they don't